Hi everyone, it's Erkan, Ali here and Gill, Tiney and Pam Marshall, and we're over at Rigsby's in Hertford in St Andrew Street, which we'll talk a bit more about. But first of all, I want to welcome you, Pam.
Thank you.
Really looking forward to this session with you today in Journey Possibly podcast. So, do you want to say hello?
Hi. Hello.
So to explain, we're in the gallery in Rigsby's, and what a great room. Do you want to just tell us a bit about the artist that we're seeing there?
Yeah, the artist his name's Tiney Johnson, and he's a real character. He tends to mainly do his art is mainly to do with music, but there are pieces that are not, and it's it's an interesting mix. It's worth just coming down and having a browse, which is what people do, and it's fun. Yeah.
So someone to come down and have a look around. It's
absolutely, especially mainly the weekends. Saturdays is the best day to come down.
It's fun. The nice thing about them though is his signature, whatever the art, whether it's related to music or not, appears to be vibrancy.
Yeah.
There's just this energy in every single piece.
I think you said he was a boxer?
Boxer, runner, does beautiful poetry, a real character.
His name is?
His name is Tiney Johnson.
Tiney Johnson, what a name. What a name. So,
that's what I say, it's like the energy, isn't it?
So how are you doing today, Jill?
I'm good, thank you.
We've done a podcast for 3 weeks.
Oh dear.
So it's been a while. So today's June the 21st. Is that summer? That is summer solstice, isn't it? So it's summer solstice. It's my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. And it's also been a very, very hot few weeks. I mean, today I think it's like 30 odd in England. I think
hottest day for 41 years.
Today?
Really? Yeah.
Wow.
1976.
So hence why I'm in flip flops and.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So, and also we wanted to just acknowledge the recent tragedy over at Grenfell Tower and the fire that happened there, to all the people involved with that, all the families, the community, and I think we're all feeling it as a country as well, that something like that could happen. Before we go further with the podcast, anything you guys would like to say? We discussed it before we got started. Is there anything you'd like to just acknowledge about it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have any words too much to say, except for it's devastating, and it shouldn't be happening in our cities in this time. It's scandalous. And
what we're not realising is the repercussions that are going on. So my daughter was telling me about one of her work colleagues who happened to live nearby.
Sorry, really sorry. I want to make sure, one, we're recording, and two,
no worries. So at 2 o'clock in the morning, if you can imagine, not just being knocked on your door, but your door being stoved in and being told to get out, and he wasn't even in the fire. So he had to get out. He was, I think, in a community centre during the night. He's been put up he's now sleeping on his friend's couch. Hasn't been able to go back into his property. I mean, he might have been by now, but this was like at the weekend, hadn't been able to go back to his property. All of his stuff was there, so your laptops, or your stuff that you live by and you work with.
That's the thing, isn't it?
And it's all open, it wasn't secured up. It was just, and he wasn't even in the fire, so imagine the trauma that you're going through when you're in the fire, but he was, outside, so these ripple effects of people, so he's going into work absolutely shattered because he's not able to sleep and it's too hot, and then he doesn't know when he's going to get his stuff or if he's allowed to go back in, and so hundreds of people are around that whole system. But having said that, you've got to look at all the good that comes out of it, and I saw a brief clip of a guy, he was on the One Show talking about, I don't know if he was Romanian or something, and he was talking about how he escaped from the inferno with his friend who was in the flat, and while he was escaping down the fire escape with a towel wrapped around his head, there was a little old lady that he knew was his neighbour. He just picked her up and carried on with her, and then they introduced them again afterwards, and she said, "It was you," because she didn't know this man, this tall man, had picked her up, and then when she found out, she got so upset that you saved my life, and it's just amazing. So the good people that are out there, we have to kind of really reassure ourselves that the majority of the world are like that, and the people that won't put their hands in their pockets to help these people when there are thousands of empty properties in that borough. That's the minority, and the stuff that's come flooding in as a result you know, all the people that want to help in so many ways. That is mankind generally, and it's only the odd crazy person or the odd people in power that have lost touch with normal mankind that are the problems.
Absolutely.
And everybody else, you know, as you were saying earlier, it's the hope word, isn't it? We're full of hope for a good future because most people, majority of people, you know, do the right thing.
And we need to change.
There was a lady in a wheelchair that went to the mosque. I saw it. She went to the mosque that the attack happened as well the other day, and she went. A white woman went and said, "I'm sorry for what we've done." And he's going, "Look, it's nothing to do with you. This is just one person. He's got in a van. He's done what he's done." He goes, you know, it's got, you know, we're not looking at the rest of the society like that, you know. And I think a lot of these things are having the effect of division and putting a kind of a splinter between humanity. One of the things that we've been talking about within BeCollaboration and within the podcast is these dynamics that divide us as opposed to how much unites us. There's so much that unites us as human beings. We all have a concern for our well-being of our families. We want to take care of other people when we have the chance to do that, and a huge amount of compassion, which is a word we were talking about earlier on. And I find that most people I meet and engage with feel that way.
Absolutely.
Very few people you kind of meet personally
I
that
think
say things that you go,
we've only got to look at the response of everybody last week. It was incredible. Even in Hertford, I think we bumped into each other, and already the Women's Society had, you know, so much stuff when they just put out that we you know, there's a better storage, I think was the lorry that was going up that night. And when I took some stuff in there, you tried to get any more in there, and that's here in Hertford. So I think the change is coming.
okay, so can we park that now?
Yeah.
Move on. So Pam, we met you what, 3 months ago? You came
Probably 2 months maybe.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, not long.
Really? That's how it's been?
One of our newest collaborators.
So how did you hear about BeCollaboration?
Julie, who works with me here in Rigsby's, was at a charity event, and Alan was on the table or talking and invited Julie along.
Oh, that's right.
And she told me, and I said, "Oh, that sounds interesting."
Alan Brown and Gill's.
Yes.
Gill's better half.
Yeah. So she went, "Are we?" I said, "Yeah." And so we came along.
What made you say you were going?
Because I'm always interested in anything.
So something new. Did it occur as something new, or was it just something you hadn't heard of?
No, I've never heard of it.
So you never heard of it, you just thought, okay. And also we're connected, aren't we, through our sister?
Yeah, who's
so
gorgeous.
You've known her for...
Yeah, and I got connected with your sister through one of the other girls that works with me.
Oh, right.
So it's all good.
And by the way, Rigsby's is in St Andrews Street, and I live literally 25 metres away. So we probably should.
Doesn't know his neighbours. That's what you're saying. He's got no idea.
I'm saying it's all about community, right?
He needs to get out more.
So when you first came, like, kind of my experience of you when you first turned up, it was like, go on in, talk. It was a bit like that. So you kind of rushed in, and it was kind of. I think you missed.
Yeah,
did you miss the introduction, or you missed the part of that? Yeah. So you kind of, to be fair to you, you didn't really know what you walked into.
No idea whatsoever. And then I thought, oh gosh.
No, I'm stuck here for 3 hours.
Am I going to get out of it?
It's going to be a cultish kind of thing. And I've done Herbalife, so I'm
all
used to
about cults.
I'm good at rah-rah. But I thought, oh no.
And then when did it kind of you go, hold on? Because I noticed the shift in your body
5 o'clock. When you gave
I did
your
a genius slot,
the video.
Yeah, I did the genius slot about hyper-normalisation, about media and mass media.
And that was when I thought.
Do you know what it was like for me watching you? At first, you rushed in, you went, and I thought she can't get out now. And then suddenly I got to do the genius slot, and then I started, and you just went like that, and the whole posture shifted. It was like, hold on a minute, there's something going on here.
But it was something I was interested in.
Yeah. What struck you about it?
I can't remember.
Okay, that's
I don't know.
You can't remember the sound. But the thing was, the genius slot.
I can't because it was just everything.
It was all come together after that, didn't it?
I'd like to hear it again, actually.
Would you? I think you videoed it, so
that I could see what it was. But I know that was the moment I thought, oh, okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I won't try and
I
escape.
completely
As soon as that door opens,
your body language completely shifted, and your level of engagement was just went straight up.
Yeah.
I remember it really well. And so, for example, within the Genius slot, the idea is that we share really cutting-edge ideas, more challenging concepts. That could be philosophies, it could be principles. So it's not there to go, hey, I've got all the answers, here you go. It's more of a, here's something we need to be thinking about, you know, as grown adults, how we engage and consume media, and how we're complicit in the media we consume. And it was like, I just noticed. And then after that, we have our social. We have a little bit of social in the bar at Lock 5,
Yeah.
and then from there we went on, and then we just
Yeah.
carried on talking and
Yeah.
talking and talking,
Yeah.
and I just kind of like, because I had my prejudice about you when you walked in,
So, oh.
because you walked in a little bit kind of late, so that
That's
wound me up
annoying.
straight
Yeah.
away, because I'm like, you know, but I can let go of those things, I'm like zen, but you know, but it was kind of like, but I just got the.
But you have to remember that this was an invitation over a social event.
Yeah.
So we probably didn't get. I had nothing to do with it anyway. I was just the
You
game
just came off
crasher.
the
Yeah.
line,
Yeah.
So we probably didn't actually get the actual time. And
No. But
So-
do you- the thing that struck me about it though is like sliding doors. It's that sliding door
Yeah.
moment. Because in all the years you've been in my proximity, I've been in yours,
Yeah.
and the link with my sister. I've heard your name before.
And your parents.
And
I
my
used to go
parents,
to
yeah.
the dry cleaners.
So you know my
And
mum
I
and
used to
dad.
chat with your mum.
Yeah. So all these, and then suddenly you're in a BeCollaboration room, and here we are in.
But take it one step back, it was Mitch Herber who invited Alan to the charity event.
There
So
you
if
go.
he hadn't done that, then Alan wouldn't have
Oh, so we've got to blame
chatted
Mitch
to
now.
But it's funny how it's just, you know, when things go right together,
Yeah.
we talk about synchronicity an awful lot, don't we?
Yeah.
And when the jigsaw pieces fit, it's like, whoa, that's it. Good, I mean,
Yeah.
let's do it,
Yeah.
and let's go carry
Yeah.
on.
No, and then so and one of the things we're very proud of, and we really stand by, is that we never ask anyone to join. We always want people to want to be part of what we're doing and play their part. You know, it's not our club; it's
No.
our club.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and not that we like the word club or not, but it's our community. To be
Yeah.
more accurate. So, what made you kind of go? Yeah, I want to be part of this.
I think when I was listening to you talking, I find it quite difficult to find people that actually think like I do. I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing, really. I kind of spend a lot of time trying to fit in, but then I think actually I don't really want to.
Yeah.
So I just don't bother, and often I know people are thinking, God, she's a bit strange, you know, with business and whatever, because
Yeah.
I always liked, I'm not very corporate, and I won't ever be corporate.
No, I really get that.
And I
Yeah.
fight against it, but I still have two businesses that work okay, you know, it suits me.
So we'll talk about those. So we'll
Yeah.
talk about the businesses and how they came about. So it was a sense that you felt you could just be you,
Yeah.
without maybe putting on the filter.
Acceptance.
Acceptance,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's a real space of openness,
Yeah.
and people are inquiring, and I think one of the things we propagate is we're not out to prove a model. No one's going out saying, well, this is how it is.
No.
We're just putting what we think are great people in the room and sharing ideas.
We often talk
Yeah.
about like-minded people,
Yeah.
and they are like-minded. We haven't all got the same opinions or the same ideas and the same thoughts, but what comes across more is a phrase that we're using on was like-hearted people.
Yeah, light-hearted.
And by being like-hearted as opposed to light-hearted, you get more genuine, authentic connections
And
with people.
hopefully non-ego related.
We have had people come to us and go, I'm trying to work out who the ego is in the room, but I
Yeah.
can't see
Alpha male, that's it.
That's right, yeah.
And I was in the room as well, so
Yeah.
there you go. And he said, I can't work out who the alpha male is. I said, well, it is. It's just we're a bunch of people getting together, sharing ideas, sharing our best stuff, connecting each other and wanting to do something. You know, wanting to, and it encompasses all of it, doesn't it? Business, life, ambitions,
You can't
art,
separate.
all
No.
of it. Yeah.
I hate it when people go, it's something personal, it's just business.
Yeah.
Well, that's another thing, probably another reason, is I think you asked me what I did. I never talk about what I do initially. I mean, if it comes up in a conversation, that's fine.
Yeah.
Because it's not my number one thing
No.
in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then good things always come because you don't talk about it.
Yeah.
It always comes up in the end because obviously everyone's got to earn some money, so they must
Well, we always
something.
we always find it interesting that people, one of the first things people ask you is, well, how do you make your money? Where does your money come from? You think like, what an odd question. But also, within the community, what people have said to us, I've known, whoever it is, for 6 months, I don't even know what they do for me.
Which is great.
It doesn't seem to be that important when you operate that.
Which is fantastic. So I think that drew me as well. Because, work is work and it's great, and I love doing, I love being busy, but I don't want to talk about it. It will just come. If something's going to come and I'm going to get some business from someone,
that's
I will.
a bonus. So what's interesting, in fact, we have had people sit in the room and they kind of sit and they go, well, yeah, I like this, I'm interested in this, but how do you make money out of BeCollaboration? So when do you get to do the networking? When do you pass your business card? And we don't, And yet there are people in the room that stood at the front, Scott Campbell being one of them, and has actually totted up as a result of BeCollaboration in the first 6 months. So I've earned this year, I earned, less than that, wasn't it?
Less than that, it was like did that a month ago, so like 4 months?
Yeah, £55,000. Now, he wasn't out to make that much money, but because of what he was out to do was help other people, raise his profile, do what he could to encourage people, all those different things, be something in the community, be a better him than he was in other communities, and then take that out to other communities. All of a sudden, all the lessons he's learned within BeCollaboration are now impacting his life. So is it any
his
wonder?
leadership is running a group, so okay, so here you are. What do you want to say? Go. No, but let's find out. So how did Rigby's come about?
Rigby's came about. I actually had a B&B in Hertford for 10 years, where I worked 7 days a week. We worked 7 days a week. I didn't do it on my own, and it was never supposed to be like that. But so I had to go 100 miles an hour because I'm thinking, okay, well we'll just do this, and then it was just crazy. So every day, up early, breakfast, 7 days a week. It ended up for 10 years, and it was absolutely exhausting. And we lived there as well as a family, and it was quite a big coming and going family. And it was fun, but it was hard and it was tiring. But I was at home with children anyway, so I was there, so I might as well do this. It meant I could still be around and be there every day.
A friend of mine has recently been doing Airbnb. He's got quite a nice house, and he said, look, he goes, okay, I've been going all around the world meeting people. He goes, now I do this, they come to me. I make them breakfast, we have interesting conversations, off they go. So in a way, you probably over those 10 years you met some,
incredible people, so of which I'm still, friendly now, and it was great. I mean, it was a good experience, but I said I'd never, ever, ever, ever do it again.
End of an era.
Ever.
And now here we are in business.
So then I helped 3 people in Hertford set up B&Bs because they asked me to, and they did, because I was never ever going to do it again, so they'd never been my competitor because I was never going to do it. And then I was actually at a friend's mother's funeral after in Hertford, and I got a call from one of the agents, or somebody called him, and said, would you be interested in experience? I went, no, absolutely not. And within 5 minutes, I was just creeping through the back. I don't even know why.
So how long have you
and I just walked through and thought, well, it's a no-brainer, it's beautiful.
How long has that been then?
A year and a half. Not even a year and a half, a year last February.
So you've had it, because it was on one of the TV?
Yeah, 4 in a Bed.
4 in a Bed.
Which has been great for us.
Yeah.
We've just kind of jumped in, and they keep ringing and asking us if we'll do it again, and there is no way.
Not for you?
No. Absolutely not.
So what have you, with all that experience of people coming and going, and that's a very service-driven business, isn't it? I mean, you're only as good as your last breakfast, you're only as good as your... It's quite a, you can't really...
You just got to be nice to people, greet them, and you can get away with not a good breakfast, although they were very good breakfasts, but we don't serve breakfast here.
Okay. No, but I mean, in the 10 years of doing it. Absolutely.
Just be personable, really. Yeah.
So there's no mystery, is there? It's quite as simple, just do your best for people.
I've done so many things in my life that have been really hard, and doing this is the most simplistic way of doing business, because it's not complicated. People come, they chat, you let them in, make sure they're happy, make sure if they've got a problem you sort it out, and then they pay you. You don't have to do a presentation, you don't have to wait for the money, you don't have to, you know, so you just have to make sure that they have everything that they need and everything they want to make it a wonderful experience.
Lovely. And what kind of people are coming now to Hertford? What are they?
Oh, well, we have business people in the week from all over the world. Amazing amount of business goes on here in Bristol, incredible. But remember, we've got Hatfield, massive business park, we've got Stevenage, huge business park, we've got Wellingham City, so, and we've got Hertford, so yeah, really interesting. We have people from all over in the week, and then we have social people.
I think I've seen a few wedding parties here.
Weddings here.
Yes. I see them all coming out sometimes.
Yeah, it's lovely. The summer's great here. Summer's fun here because you have weddings and we open the doors. And then social at the weekend, and then we have people coming from. We have a lot from Haileybury, so parents coming for their children, and that's really cute. When they come and then they go, and it's a bit sad. And then, as I had this with the B&B, as they grow, it gets they're fine, and you know, it's lovely. So and so social and business really.
And then the other business is
accommodation. But it's short-term service departments, so it's like having a hotel, but you have an apartment, which is much better if you're on more than a few days. And that's great. Yeah.
And are those properties in around Hertford, or are they
all Hertford?
All Hertford.
Well, we just got one in Spain, and we're looking at doing something in London.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
So how do you see your you know, what are you looking? You know, obviously been a couple. I think it's been about 3 meetings you've been to. Obviously the first one, then you came to Hertford. If I'm right. London. Yeah. So how do you see BeCollaboration evolving for you? What are you getting from it? Is there anything you want from it that it's not giving you, or is it?
Yeah, I'd like to be able to maybe. I've got a bee in my bonnet about social care, and maybe I'm thinking if there was more people, maybe there would be something that we could do to make this better, because it's outrageous at the moment because it doesn't exist. So I know at the Hertford meeting, Tarek, who is from Able, was saying that he feels strongly about his children and what they see on the TV, and he'd like to do some kind of YouTube connection to do something that would appeal to youngsters, but also would have some kind of meaning, or maybe a bit of an educational slant or whatever. And I think something like that would be good for the social care aspect, in that we bring it back to maybe the schools. I know when I was at school, you chose where you would go to help, whether it was the local, there was a, I suppose you'd call it an orphanage, but I think it was a temporary, children that were temporary needing help. And I used to go there and help voluntarily. I was about 14. And then there was a psychiatric unit somewhere near Kitchen, I think, that way, Colney Heath maybe St Albans, and I used to go there on a Sunday. And that was just part of what you did. And I don't think there's anything, I don't know because I don't have children at school anymore, but I don't think there's anything in the curriculum now.
There's something you grew up with, something that was instilled in you about a concern for others. Others. Like, you know, was that from your parents? Did they have that?
No, I don't think so.
Was that something that you
I
always...
think a lot of it had to do, I don't know, but I think some of it was to do with school. I think it was, we had to choose
They're old schools
where
now.
we were going.
Yeah, I mean, my kids, when they were at school, every Wednesday afternoon they had community action.
Oh, that's good.
So the whole afternoon was given over to doing something in the community, and they were given a chance to go work in a charity shop, go to an old people's home, or whatever it happened to be.
Does that still happen?
I think so, yeah. But I think that some schools do and some schools don't, but you're right, it doesn't have to be in school. There should be, I mean, there aren't any, when I was young, there were youth clubs. You would go to a youth club and there would be people there that would, you know, you'd go and have fun. You know, Thursday evenings, sort of 7 till 9 was 2 hours where you go and have fun, but there were 1 or 2 adults that would be able to, you know, give you some, you know, have you been to guides, do you go to venture scouts, do you do this, and kind of encourage you to do other things that have more meaning than just turning up and hanging around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe that's how it could work. I mean, just my thought was that if we could, probably across the country, if there was a way of getting, even if you got young people, which would be such fun for older people, you know, it's because my mum is 96 and she is not eligible for care.
Right.
And she's 96, she lives on her own, and she has a broken pelvis and acute heart failure, and I've had 7 meetings with the Social Services Hertfordshire County Council, and after that 7 meetings, all of which they take copious notes, stay for an hour and a half, and then say, we'll be in touch, it could be a week, we'll be in touch, and never ever do they come back. And they don't have cards, and they don't have surnames, and they don't have telephone numbers. And if I hadn't have experienced this personally, I wouldn't believe it. So I don't know what the criteria is to be eligible for social care.
For the skin, I think.
No, it's got nothing to do with money.
Oh, okay.
No, this is nothing to do with money. This is to do with actually having somebody come in and look after you, because you have to pay anyway.
Yeah.
So I've got a private company now coming in every morning, which we pay, and we have to pay anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not about money, it's about there just is nobody to do it. And the only...
So there's just no provision for it?
There's no provision.
So what's all the note-taking?
Well, I don't know.
Is that like going
assessment of sorts?
what I wanted to mention was on my mind. What's the date of our open space?
27th of September, if that's a Tuesday, 4th Tuesday in September.
We need to get the date.
Yeah.
We'll get the date because we've got an open space in London.
Yeah, no, I know, in London.
So
That's a good
so we're going to be
place,
we'll be promoting that over the summer. So in September, 4th Tuesday of September in London, we're hosting a whole 3 hours on open space, and the intention is to get people to get up and say, I want to do this, pitch ideas and see. It's a kind of happening. It's not going to be orchestrated. It's going to be more facilitated and just see what turns up. So we're really keen that the collaborators, because it does. I can see why people get confused about BeCollaboration, because it is about business. It is about your family, and it is about your society, and it is about your ambitions, and it is about many things that you're interested in. And it's linking with other people who've got those interests, and that's where the collaborations start. So maybe something we could. We could definitely a chance to.
Yeah, because my mum is one of the lucky ones. She's got me. Yeah. But there are so many people out there that don't have anybody. You don't have many mates when you're 96.
No.
They're all gone.
Unless you've cultivated younger friends. But
and also she's in good health, although she's not. But in her mind, she's in fantastic spirits. There's nothing wrong with her.
I know there was an initiative a little while ago for one care home where they invited people, I don't know if they were homeless people or people that just wanted accommodation that were under a certain age, that could go and live temporarily for a year or 2 years in a care home. So they kind of brought some life into the environment and had chats with the elderly people.
That's such a good idea.
And you need to mix the generations.
Yeah, because you do need to have some sort of stimulus going.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great idea.
Well, 50 years ago, you'd have your granny living with you, wouldn't you? I know as I was growing up, my great aunt used to live with us. Yeah. And my mum and dad looked after her until she died at 93.
Yeah.
So it's getting back to those kind of standards of, you don't have to take somebody and put them in a home and bye, I'm going to go live my life and you can just disintegrate over there. Yeah. But it's, as you say, finding something. There's so many opportunities to kind of pull the two together. Yeah. But we need, as a community, whether in BeCollaboration or a Hertford community or wherever, is to start going, well, this is a problem here. Who's going to help me? Yeah. And then get together and do something. Yeah. I was saying to Dipak the other day, because he's in a flux of where to go and what to do, moving from one career into another. And I said probably the biggest thing push you forward is what makes you angry. What really come on, we've got to do something, and that will drive you to get the right people who are also angry or passionate about a problem, a situation that's wrong, and then you can start putting it right. But if you're like, yeah, that's a bit annoying, you're not going to, it's not going to happen, is it?
But going back to when we were preparing for this podcast, I was saying about there is an urgency. You know, life is urgent. You need to get on with it. You need to go and make something happen.
There needs to be an action.
Yeah, just sitting complaining or noticing. Well, what's the? And I've kind of been saying, I think I said this in the last Genius. It's kind of noticed there's three. You know, so there's two types of people. You know, three types of people. There's three kinds of people. There's those who are kind of in the matrix and they're kind of going about everything within the current system. And they're going to work. They're trying to survive, get a job, keep a job, pay your bills, and all that. And I get that. And then there's those who've kind of gone off the beaten track and they're waking up to, you know, what's going on around them, and they're getting information now, because obviously with the internet and with the way information now gets about is a lot easier. And what I'm noticing about a lot of those people who are kind of mainly engaging in ideas is quite academic and it's kind of opinion driven. Well, you know,
I've noticed
it's kind of like, but you kind of go, well,
that's an ego thing.
Yeah, and I say, what are you committed to? You know, forget all the information. And this is the third group that I'm really interested in developing. Is this people who have kind of they've broken out of the matrix, they've woken up to look, there's something going on in this world. I can be part of it, one way or the other. You know, I'm either part of the problem or I'm part of the solution.
Yeah.
And then there's, well, what do I do? You know, so rather than being a spectator and an opinionator, you can actually go, you know what, I'm gonna roll my sleeves up and get on with something, and having that experience of making that impact. And for me, there's a clear intention within BeColl as well. Something that we've been quite passionate is creating this sense of urgency, like get on with it. You know, imagine if someone had got on with it a little bit earlier with the Grenfell Tower. And I know there's people that have been, by the way. This is not to undermine their efforts, but someone that could have maybe tipped the balance there. You know, and that could have created a whole cascade of impact into all these other buildings. Like we said, how many buildings we think there are now?
Thousands.
It's
about 18,000 buildings, I think, 18,000 tower blocks
in England.
In the UK, yeah.
18,000 tower blocks. You know, so and you said what percentage of those have sprinklers?
Oh, something like 2%. Crazy.
You know, and I posed this question on Facebook the other day, Gill, is would you live in a tower block that had no sprinklers? And people are going, why are you even asking this question? Like, well, I'm asking because that's not, and that's what people are saying.
What if you had
and that's exactly what people are saying. And I thought to myself, you know what? Is if we feel we haven't got a choice,
that's when you feel invisible.
Yes.
And there's nothing worse, I think,
and you can't
in
make
this world than feeling invisible.
Exactly.
And that goes back to the older generation. If they're in a care home or
they're invisible.
Something, totally invisible.
Yeah. And who are we? Who are these people that came out to take all those notes? Those 7 million. Who are they to do this? To this person that's lived through the war, has the best stories ever, is so interesting, and has taken nothing from the system, has never, once was in hospital 20 years ago for a hip replacement, has never been in hospital.
I wonder if, posing the question, they've seen what she's got and the person who's supporting her, and they've looked at what's available and gone, do you know what's available is actually worse than where she is at the moment.
Yeah, no, she's not going in a care home.
No.
Absolutely not. All we
just want someone to come in and support her.
She had a broken pelvis, she couldn't get up. So how is she going to get to the bathroom?
Because my mum was, Essex and
everyone
Hertfordshire, maybe there's a difference.
Everyone says this. I don't understand. You know, I wouldn't have understood it if I hadn't experienced it. I would have just said, because I'm a doer, so I would have just gone, well, you've got to do this, and you've got to do that, and that's what you've got to do. Well, I did it, and it doesn't exist. Yes, I agree, she's amazing in her mind, and she's fully made up, very smart, and you know looks you know the part sitting there. You know she's sitting there. Nobody's going to see that she's got a broken pelvis because she's sitting there, and you know and she's looking proud and she's chatting and whatever. But even if she was perfectly okay, living on your own at 96, somebody should be popping in. I mean, she is on the radar now, so you know there are district nurses and stuff.
One of the things that we notice about longevity, people living longer, especially in Mediterranean countries, we say it's the sun and the diet. Yeah, those things are really important. But it's also people are around.
Family.
They're around family. And one of the things that impacts us as human beings is what we're looking ahead to. You know, and when you're around family, there's a celebration coming up, there's a birthday, there's a public holiday, they're part of it, so they've got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
And I think the breakdown of the family unit in the UK and the industrialisation and the knock-on effect of that is fragmented families, and both parents having to work. You know, you kind of got a breakdown. You've got kids being brought up by strangers or state-appointed teachers. You know, and I could go down that road. But I won't say that for another day. But the thing I'm kind of really seeing is that we've lost empathy with our own families, let alone empathy with a load of refugees who people feel have a whole different story and narrative that goes with that, and the dehumanising, like, well, they're different to us, they don't belong, you know, for whatever reason, you know, like, and we lose that empathy. Absolutely.
They were doing exactly the same as us. They were doctors, nurses, accountants.
Pam, I'm meeting people that talk. They say, look, you're talking about your mother in such a respectful adoration. You know, like, you can see you love her and you care about her, right? How many people do you meet that you say to them, you know, was last time you told your mum or dad you love them? And they go, I don't talk to my dad. What do you mean you don't talk to your dad? Well, before you're going to sort out the economic system or the social system or some big macro thing, go tell your dad you love him. You ain't going to sort out anything like that. You know, and I think we've lost that bond. We have to take, you know, this thing about...
We have to realise that maybe he had a reason for that.
Of course, there's always a reason. And we're very reasonable, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're very reasonable.
So there might be a...
But if human beings, we can't get on with our mums and our dads and our brothers and our sisters, what chance have we got someone who's got on a boat or a plane or got...
Well, you know what, you can't choose your family.
Yeah, you can.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How's that work then?
I'm going to get very abstract here. Well, the whole distinction choice is one that's very much misunderstood, right? So we have choices like either this or that. And what we do is we disempower ourselves in how we choose. It's actually, if you just chose your parent because they're your parent, because you chose them, then you've chosen them. If you don't choose them, then you're constantly in conflict with them. Like acceptance. Think acceptance, maybe take acceptance.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah, because your mum and your dad and your brother and your sister, they are the chosen ones, because you chose to manifest. Get a bit, you know, heavy here, but you manifested in that family. That's where you turned up. You know, you came out, you know, from the ether, some kind of spiritual energy. Boom, you plopped out, and you chose them on a level, right? Now, I'll tell you a story about me when I was 8 years old. Right, 8 years old. And I was living in North London, grew up in North London, as you can probably tell from my accent. And I'm dark. You know, I'm not black, but I'm dark, right? And I've got dark hair. And my dad and my mum are quite light. And my mum has quite fair hair. My dad has white hair on the whole, but fair hair.
Yeah.
And my brother and sister, when I was kids, my sister used to look like Shirley Temple. And my brother looked about as English as you could. He looked Nordic. He had sand white hair, blue eyes, and my sister had blue eyes. You met my sister?
Yeah.
You know, do we look like we're related,
No.
right? And there was this little darkie in that family, right? So I grew up thinking I didn't belong.
Oh.
And then my dad, when he'd discipline us, it was always me that got it. You know, back then my dad would hit me or he'd be quiet.
Were you the eldest? Yeah.
And one day I just said, that's it, I'm leaving. I was about 8 years old. And I said, that's it, these people are nothing to me. They're not my relatives, whoever the hell they are. I don't know how I ended up here, because I don't look like them. They're all blonde, blue eyes. Maybe I was racist from the early days. They're blonde, blue eyes, and there's me, this little darky boy with this monobrow and growing up. They used to call me Fonzie when I was a kid. And I just ran away. I ran away from home. I said, that's it, I'm done with this lot.
Where did you go?
I ran off into the fields, because we used to live behind fields and football pitches, and I went off really crying, really upset. I was really upset, I felt really down, I felt really lonely. In fact, some of the emotions are coming back to me, I could feel them.
Yeah.
And I was very angry, and I felt very powerless, and I didn't know where to go. And it was getting later, and I remember it being sort of a summer day, it was like, so it was getting late, dark, you know, later, so it was like I had loads of time, it suddenly started getting darker. And I thought, well, they do feed me.
Logic kicked in.
They do my laundry, and they're not that bad. I mean, I probably should have done this or that. Okay, you know what? These aren't my real family, they're not my real parents, but for now, you know what? I'm going to choose them. They're my family until the real lot turn up. And I chose them. I went back home, and you know, can you imagine, where you been? What's that been? And I was like, and I felt like I'd returned to something.
Yeah.
You know, and I was only like 8, 9 years old. There was this innate wisdom that just said, these guys are all okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with these guys because they're the ones I've got. Right? Now, obviously, if I was older and I was trapped in that cycle, or I had the money or the impetus to leave, imagine I left and I made that choice that these people are not my family, I disowned them when I'm off. How many families do you know that are like that? How many people do you meet that really don't have the skills or the abilities to repair these relationships or heal them? So the question like, how do you choose your parents is, well, you choose them because then it's acceptance. Love, at the end of the day, is acceptance. When you accept something the way it is, because if you look at your parents, they can't be any other way than they are. You know, they are the way they are, they're not the way they're not, and at some level you've got to go...
Yeah, I mean, I
get
that, and
there's many reasons to reject
that. You know, I was lucky, I had good ones, but you know, there can be people in the world that might have to make that space to be able to go on.
I think a lot of people suffer themselves by making that space because they spend their life wondering why they haven't got the Disney mum and dad. You know, why are my mum not like that? Why is my dad not like that? Why can't they be like that family over there? I want to have those parents over there. Yeah. And you can't, these are the ones you got. You know, it's kind of,
but
make
you know,
the best
if they're
of what
in
you've
prison
got.
and, you know, have addiction problems or something, maybe sometimes to be able to get on,
there's
you
no
have
person,
to walk away a little bit.
Yes, you can distance yourself to get
I mean, you don't not love them, but for you to move on with your life, you have to maybe just have that space.
And sometimes it's just short term.
Do I interrupt?
You're right, go. I'll let you.
But I think the main point is, if we can't heal the most closest relationships we've got as a human species, what?
Well, you know, it depends what the problem is.
Fine.
You know.
Fine, I get it.
But what's possible? This is a journey of possibility.
It's a journey of
You've got
possibility.
to look at what's
Not
possible.
journey
Of
of
course, no matter how damaged people are, there's always a way
But I think that
back.
comes maybe with maturity.
In my experience, generally not.
Really?
Yeah.
You get stuck in the right thing, I suppose. The old
Generally not. Generally not. The old model of communication, on the whole, leaves us old, lonely, and right.
Yeah, I've done some work. I did some work once with the Citizens Advice Bureau in quite an underprivileged area, and you do see things that are incredibly scary, and you know, I can understand some of those young people walking away and trying to make a life for themselves and putting a space between them and their families. I get that.
Imagine a pressure cooker, right? Do you ever grow up with pressure cookers? Yeah, I grew up with pressure cookers, right? And you'd hear it go, you know, you don't really hear it much anymore. But anyway, so you've got a pressure cooker. And imagine the government and the big macro stuff is the boundaries of the pressure cooker. And then you put the thing on, you turn the heat up. You're turning up a heat and it's going to create a certain atmosphere within the pressure cooker. And I think what we're seeing with Grenfell and with social care and with the austerity cuts, you see it as a systemic breakdown of our society, or an attack on the ordinary person, and less people are benefiting more and more from the way the system works than what comes out the top. And I think that's what I mean. So, and I'm thinking, for us to be accountable for our world, i.e. rather than what can I do about it? My mum was this, my dad was that, and walk away, is actually show people how they can have those relationships be functional again or healed. Because when we walk away from those relationships unhealed, we may attach to a different group, but we've been fragmented.
Yeah, of course.
You know, and that's part of this, in my mind, that's part of the divide and conquer process. Because as soon as two parents are working, as soon as you're giving your kids over to schools and care people, you know, and I know a lot of people are doing a lot of good, they're doing their best, but to me that doesn't seem the most nurturing of ways to socialise our children and the way we take care of our older people. Essentially what I'm saying is that we need to repair and heal the relationships that don't work in our lives right now. And that permeates throughout our world.
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking too about children as well, and sending them off to childcare and everything. We made a conscious decision to be at home for the first 5 years, or I was at home for the first 5 years, and then people go, oh, well, you were lucky, you could afford it.
Oh, that was luck.
I would have gone into a one-bedroom flat, I seriously would have done, rather than giving my baby to a stranger to look after. I didn't need all of the stuff that was around me, and in fact, I was on maternity leave and I was supposed to go back to work for a local government. Yay! So I wasn't keen to go back, and through my maternity leave I was like, please don't make me go back, please don't make me. I mean, in the end my husband went, we've just got enough to survive, we can stay in this house and we can just survive. Unfortunately, because it was his own business, we both worked hard. The baby would be in bed and I'd be stuffing envelopes and chasing debt and all sorts of things in order to grow the business so that we could then actually get a bigger house as we moved on. But even if we couldn't do that, even if he had an X amount of income coming in, I would have sold my house, I would have gone down to a flat, I would have done whatever was necessary not to have to do that. It's the same as when my mum and dad were ill. They lived at Southend because that's where they chose to be, which was lovely. We chose to be in a different location, but when they started to get ill, we said, no, you've got to come and live here. And they were like, oh, well, but we like Southend. I went, yeah, but our business is here, this is the choice. You're either on your own, and I'm going to, whatever you do, I'm going to come. If Dad needs to go to hospital, I'm going to drive, wherever it takes. I said, but if you come and live near me, it makes my life easier. So they did, and they were around the corner.
They were, weren't they?
And it was like, if we'd had a place that, we didn't have stairs and we could have put them in a bungalow, nearby, we couldn't have got it any closer to where they were. So that was, my whole thing is family is so important. Didn't always get on with my mum, didn't always get on with my sister. She's not, far away, she's only up the road. When she needed me, she came in the middle of the night to come and see me. Doors were open, and it always will be that way. But it doesn't mean to say I've always liked her, or I've always got on with her, or we've always been best buddies. I can probably count on one hand the amount of times we've done things together.
But you probably had such a good grounding to get you there in the beginning. No, you didn't.
No.
Okay.
You have to learn yourself.
Yeah,
and
you have to heal yourself. What you were saying is when you're fragmented, until you heal yourself and work on yourself every single day,
put your own mask.
You're not going to be able to help anybody else. And I think that's where that's the big thing that I feel is that nobody just gets anywhere. It's hard work and it's exhausting, and you have to go right down there to get
go
back
down
up
there,
again,
and it comes out,
and you keep
and
getting
you're
knocked down. But each time. And you just have to get on, and you just have to learn and find every possible thing to help you.
Yeah.
Mine is my spirit surgeon, and I love him.
Exactly.
And he mends everything.
Are you going to meet him?
Yes, and he's incredible. Wayne.
Doesn't
sound like
But this is the whole point of BeCollaboration.
Everything, so that you can start again.
Exactly. But if you've got people like Wayne and yourself and Erkan in the likes of a community where the whole pool is for you to be the best that you can be. So we've had different people in our community that say, I've got a problem with my wife, I've got a problem with my husband, and we talk them around and we challenge them. It's like, so what are you going to do about it? It's like, come on, and they kind of know in the back of their head, they're like, yeah, I'm not ready yet, but I hear what you're saying. So we want them to be the best that they can be, and if they can't sort out, as Erkan says, the relationships that are immediately there,
but they've got to sort themselves out first.
But we're pulling for them to be the best they can.
And I think that's something that quite often people come back to me, they say, over the last year my life shifted, my view of the world shifted, my business is improving, my relationship is improving.
By accident, didn't it?
Yeah, just like my magic, right? But going back to something I think that that you've said, Pam, and I'm not challenging you personally, right? No. But it's this kind of, inside of that, when your relationship, if you're fragmented and you've got underlying issues with family members that you haven't resolved for whatever reason, some of them are really, really challenging. By the way, I'm not saying that because we've all got our own story of that, but it's also like the underlying cynicism or resignation that can creep in, because there is something about it, you can't, your own fundamental, at the end of the day, that your parents, for example, and your siblings are the very stuff you're made of. They are the source of your life. Your mother, your father are the source of your life. So if you are already fragmented in that, where does that leave us with, 3, 5 times remove people that
Yeah.
to lose that empathy.
Yeah, I can.
And I know you would say about empathy,
Yeah,
right? But I think empathy needs check. You need a check and balance with empathy. Otherwise, you wouldn't get down the end of the road, would you?
No.
You wouldn't make it to the end of the road.
Yeah, you have to learn that.
You have to learn where and when it's appropriate, and also this idea of your own faith. You've got to take care of yourself so you can be of value.
One of the
Absolutely.
examples, to, as you were saying, some people have had horrendous relationships with their parents, and one of our collaborators presented in Hartford. It's so good. We weren't allowed to video.
Tears.
It was very, very emotional, but basically they'd suffered abuse as a child from their parents, but managed to reconcile the whole relationship to the extent that she nursed him through to death when he was an elderly man. And it's like, what, so when you have examples like that, and you're talking about, oh yeah, my mum didn't buy me that Christmas present that year, and I've never forgiven her since, it's like such a spectrum. But when you have people that stand at the front of the room and share that kind of thing, it makes you think, wow, anything's possible.
Oh,
because if she's got through that, then I can
But like a lot of these things, it isn't what happened, it's also the concept that you're stuck with. And the story that you're stuck with about either yourself,
the damage.
the self-worth. The fact that your mum didn't buy you a Christmas present could make you feel like, your concept of it was, I'm unloved.
Yeah.
My brothers and sisters being blonde and blue eyes, and my mum and dad being fair, was enough to tell me I didn't belong, and that this wasn't my family.
You do look like your dad, though.
I felt like my brother now, but the thing was, when they were kids, they were literally. But the thing was, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was innate wisdom. Maybe I was just lucky. Maybe I was hungry. I thought, oh, what the hell, I've got to go home anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. What I can remember of it now is it was kind of like, the only way I can describe it now is like a wave of wisdom that just said, you know what, these people are okay. Go on, go back.
Well,
Forgive.
it's probably that other place or whatever it is.
Exactly. It was. I can feel it now. I probably haven't mentioned this story in I don't know how long, right? But the thing it was maybe in that quiet moment there was an opportunity to just choose them again. Going back to that idea of choosing my parents, and I had that experience at the age of 8, choosing my parents. And there's within the Landmark Forum, the program we talk about quite a bit. You get a chance to choose your parents in a way that you do all the work to build up, where you get to really choose your parents. But not only them, but anything in life. And it's a very empowering. You can choose anything that is, because it is the way it is. And the sentiment is why is the ceiling the way the ceiling is? The ceiling is the way the ceiling is because it's the way it is. Can it be another way? No, it is the way it is. Same with the carpet. Why is the carpet the way it is? It's the way it is. But we can't be that accepting of our parents or our family or the brother you fell out with or your ex-wife or and I hear so many people now splitting up, as families. Husband and wives are splitting up, kids are, and it's kind of like, and it's left in turmoil. I mean, so really, imagine how many broken homes, or even if people are living together dysfunctionally, imagine how much pain and, unfulfillment. Is that the right word? Unfulfillment? Or how unfulfilled it can be. Living and lonely. So you've got this bare shell of people. Turn up. I'm saying turn up BeColl, but turn up in your life wherever you are. You go to shops. You're bumping into people that are not there. They're not there, not present. So for me, the big push at the moment is to connect with as many people at an authentic level as possible. The podcast is a way of leveraging that connection. So people who are listening to this now are engaging in our conversation, and maybe go away and think about, maybe I should phone my mum.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just, Dad, sorry what I said to you the other day, or whatever.
Just making a start, isn't it? Even if it's writing a letter, if you can't do something face to face.
I think the way of doing it is to think, what if that person wasn't here tomorrow? How would that make you feel? Whether it's a friend or, none of this stuff really matters.
No.
Because this is only a small part of our existence. Who knows what's going to happen after we're not here? Yeah. And so
We'll do that one in part 2. But exactly, that's the urgency.
Yeah, because it's exciting and it's short.
You know, there's probably 2 or 3 people in your mind that you could phone and go, you know what, hey, come on, let's, you know.
Bygones be bygones.
It's a bit like doing your maintenance.
I don't really got any anymore, I think I've done it all.
You've got rid of them all.
I've been Wayne. So.
I want to be Wayne, that sounds exciting.
So I'm looking forward to meeting Wayne. Okay, so have we got any updates, any news, BeCon news?
Oh gosh, throw it at me. We're coming into July. Well, before that, sorry, we've got the London meeting.
London meeting
next
27th,
Tuesday,
so this should be up before then.
Those of you who are fans of Beju Solanki, he will be doing the Know and Be Known.
All 3 of you?
That's me.
And the 2 of them here?
So yeah, looking forward to that. Beju is very entertaining. I'm looking forward to his stand-up routine.
Yes.
And hopefully some insights into entrepreneurship as well.
He's talking about the profiles, the entrepreneurial profiles,
Yes.
and he's talking. I think the backdrop is game-changing entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
So that's quite interesting. He's doing similar talk that he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extended
So
version.
that would be really worth it if you're in the entrepreneur world, or you're taking entrepreneurship life, or you're coming out of corporate, or you're looking at starting a business. That is really valuable information. So you know, Hertford on the 27th.
Next Tuesday.
The
Brown's
Butler's Wharf.
restaurant.
Yeah.
London.
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 Did I say Hertford?
Yes.
You're slightly obsessed with Hertford,
Cool.
aren't you?
Yeah, I love Hertford.
It's so much fun.
Apparently Hertford.
The only problem is, in the summer you never get home. Because I have to walk from here. And there's so many places to stop on the way home.
That's a lovely problem to have,
And there's
isn't
so
it?
many
You should
people
get a
you
bus
see.
and just be unsociable.
Oh, I need to
That's
do
really,
something.
yeah.
So we've
it's great.
So we've got we've got London on the 27th. If you want to come to London, go to the website www.BeCollaboration.com, register yourself in so you know we're coming. The introduction is 2 till 3, and the main meeting is 3 till 6 with social after, which is where we get to hang out and just talk about the session and get to know each other. We've got Be Inspired.
Yep.
So Be Inspired, I haven't done a Be Inspired since
Beginning of the year, wasn't it?
September.
No.
I think the last one.
Did you not? Was it really?
Yeah, September.
Not November?
No.
Wow.
September, last Be Inspired. So Be Inspired program is all about connecting us to our genius, and we look at 3 main fundamental mechanisms that are kind of I've cited as complicit in that. In the macro is our education system, our money system, and our media, and we look at how that is impacting us like gravity. You know, every time you let go of something, it goes down. That's gravity. So you know, you just look at the way the media has been working. Look at how our children have been educated. Look at how the money system is impacting us. We look at those things, and we kind of get a grip on us as children, and start to look at ourselves as what we were like. We kind of asked people to bring a photograph of them as a child and get reconnected to that childlike innate wisdom and understanding. So it's a really interesting program. The next dates are 21st of
What's the 23rd of September?
23rd of September, which is a Sunday. July. Did I say? I'm getting all my dates mixed up.
It's
Oh shoot! Sorry.
it's
July the 23rd,
Yeah.
Sunday, and then 21st of
October.
October. All the dates are not on the website yet, but they will be. So I'm a little bit behind. So we've got that coming up.
So are they 2 different?
They're the same program, just
Okay.
2 different dates.
Okay.
Yeah, they're one day. They're one day.
Okay.
Very challenging.
Right.
We get into things quite heavy, and it's 9:30 in the morning till 7:30 at night.
Wow.
So we've got
Yeah.
we try and make the most of that whole day together.
Okay.
We use videos, we use audio, and it's quite
Where is it?
to be agreed. I'm thinking Hatfield University.
How many people?
Probably about probably
Yes.
tops that under 20, but about 15. I think 12 to 15 is a
Yeah.
sweet spot for it. I'd say
Yeah.
at the moment the way we're running it. So that's Be Inspired. Really looking forward to delivering that. And also, those of you who've already done the Be Inspired program, I'm doing some updates and tweaks to it. So there's going to be some new bits in it as well. So it is evolving. What else, Jill? New website's up,
Go
BeCollaboration.com.
and have a look, have a wander around, see what you think. We're improving it all the time. Kay Westrap is doing an amazing job for us. So really happy for the way it's turned out so far, but it's moving forward. So you might see it on your mobile and go, it doesn't quite fit, but Kay knows that. It might have already been done. I don't know, she's so fast, but she said she was going to spend some time making sure they fit tablets and...
Yeah, I mean, and the other thing about the way we've been doing a lot of things in BeCollaboration is the community is doing things as a contribution, as a gift to the community. So for example, logos have been designed, artwork's been done, websites have been built, videos have been made, all sorts of, I've probably left loads of people out, there's all sorts of people contributing something to,
British Standards.
yeah, British Standard was contributed again, that's a major thing. So, you know, one of the things that quite often people turn up at BeCollaboration, Pam, and they say, well, how can I make a difference? Well, what are you great at? What do you love? Contribute some of that. You know, whatever it is you're really great at, contribute either that skill or that mindset or those connections or something that allows us to take the community to the next level. And the way we describe it is, you know, if you went to a picnic and someone said, bring your best dish, bring that to the party. You know, bring something that you really feel is important to you, that you're proud of, and make that contribution. So we're open to the opportunity for people to impact the organisation. Because above the shop is the name collaboration, and that's what it's all about. Cool. Have you got any anything else, any updates, anything else?
No, I think that's it for now. The biggest thing as well is the open space in September. If you want to come along to that, and if you've got a project that you've got a burning desire to get off the ground, that's a great time to come and organically see how it can happen. It's a tryout for us, isn't it? We've not done this before.
No,
so
it's like letting the lunatics loose.
So we've got Mark Mield and Colin Newlin who are going to be orchestrating that, with Andrew Horder in the background looking after them. So we'll see some new projects coming through. So that's something I'm quite excited about. So
I've got a question, Pat.
Go.
What is it? Are there any questions you'd like to ask about BeCollaboration, or how it came about, or anything that you've not thought to ask or didn't think you could ask?
I'm curious about.
Remember, this is unscripted.
I don't really know how it came about. How did it come about? It was just you two.
Yeah, once upon a time.
Once upon a time, yeah. Oh, that's all covered in the introduction, by the way.
Okay.
But,
so did you work together?
No. We so. Do you want to?
Okay.
Cool.
It's in the book.
It's in the book.
Which will be out soon. We went to an NLP course, so we were both independent business coaches at an NLP course, and he pestered me at lunchtime. Couldn't get rid of him, and the conversation carried on. And it's a bit like when you hear something that you go, that's interesting, and you want to hear a little bit more. And we went for lunch, and we went for coffee, and we had a one-to-one, and bit by bit.
We've got the flip chart out.
Yeah, several times. And it kind of just organically evolved.
It was very organic. I was kind of having these conversations about. It was kind of brewing in me, this idea of putting really cool people in a room. You know, people who kind of worked on themselves, people who are passionate about it, want to and have an understanding. They want to make a living. They want to make a difference. They want to improve their game. And where'd you go? You know, I just felt very frustrated. And it was like, where could I have a bank of talent and real specialist skills that I could draw on for my projects, or to do something with, you know? And I've always been like, you know, I like to do stuff with other people. I'm not a loner. And I found that with Gill, you know, what happened with Gill, it was kind of like, I was saying something, she goes, that's a really good idea.
So what made you want to pester Gill? What was it she said?
I didn't really pester her. I pester everybody, to be honest.
Yeah. What was it that she said?
That's a good question, isn't it?
No, I think it was.
Or was it an energy you felt, or?
I tell you how it occurs now. It was you know, if you speak into something, you feel heard.
Yeah.
That's how it felt. And it wasn't anyone I knew. It wasn't like there's. I don't mean this to tell, but we're not really. We're not friends who did this.
No.
There was no pre-relationship.
Yeah, no.
There was really our main connection is BeCollaboration.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure we would be friends.
But something made you go and talk, or probably you were talking to lots of
I
people,
talked to
but
loads
something made you carry on talking to Gill.
At the time, I was talking to a lot of people about this.
Perhaps there's nobody else wanting to listen.
So I was answering, come on, phone me back. No, there were people that were involved at that time that I was starting these conversations with, and then what it was is I'd start to talk to Gill about it, and Gill kind of went, you know, I think I like that, and how about this, and it was, yeah, I'm going to sound corny, it was collaborative from the offset.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, this is my idea, do you want to be part of it?
No.
Hey, this is what I'm doing. It was like, I'm really interested in these things, and then, you know, I'm interested as well. And then it was like, then we started to, and see when it got interesting, we then designed, because Beju was there early days. I think I met Beju before I met you. No? Was after?
Didn't you meet him at KPI?
No, met him before.
Oh, okay, maybe.
Yeah. And I started to pitch people this idea, what about if we created this organisation, and, you know, and we started to do introductions. and it was just sharing ideas with people. So we'd invite a few people, maybe 4, 5, 6 people, and they'd turn up, and we'd do the introduction and say, okay, yeah, I'll join. And we went, well, there's nothing to join. And there wasn't anything to join. This was like mid-early 2013 type of time. And it was very organic, so we were testing the conversation. People turned out it's very fluffy. Let me know when you get it together in 2 years' time, I'll come back. We were like, okay, fine, thanks. And we just kind of kept on nudging it forward, wasn't it? It was like we just couldn't leave it alone, just nudged it forward, And I think for me, the point when it started to take on a real life was when the name BeCollaboration came to me. It kind of gave it, and the name that we had for it before that was Javelin.
Can I just say the name you had for it before?
There was just
I never liked Javelin, I never adopted it.
No, it was a working title, it was a really working title.
In his mind.
Yeah, no, I wasn't going to go with it. But then I was thinking, like, just kind of thought about this idea of the being a collaboration, this human experience. And in the vision and mission we say collaboration, humanity at its best. Do you know, whenever you've done anything great with other people, it's always been a collaboration. You know, think about it, you go on a holiday, people just get things together, you go on a driving trip with people, you work with people, it just kind of it kind of naturally happens. And in terms of self-organising, we've been really exploring this idea of how do you just self-organise? Give people a date, tell them what the intention is, and it just kind of happens. Whereas rather than going, right, I'm in charge, you do that, you do this, and you know, that kind of way we've been conditioned at school, someone's got to be in charge, you need a leader, and someone's got to be accountable. But actually, if we're all accountable, and we're all, you know, what someone said, a leaderless society or a leaderful. Yeah, I heard someone say something talk the other day, we're a leaderless society. In fact, no, we're a leaderful society, because we're all leaders. You don't need someone at the head charging on. Now, obviously, everything has a beginning, and usually there's a story to that. But for us, it's not about us two. In fact, we want to be kind of there and not there. We want to provide what's needed and step out of the way. Provide what's and know when you've been too involved and backing off. It's a real, you know, it's a real art. You know, did we get too involved in that? Could we have been, you know? Sometimes you've got to, because if you don't, it won't move forward. So it's kind of developing that skill set where it has its own.
Which is where you brought in the guiding lights. So we have people within BeCollaboration that if we have a project, then we can call on anybody who feels they can be a guiding light on this project, come and support us. So we have the odd meeting with people that, you know, turn up, and we have conversations about possibilities and what we could try and do. And somebody will go, yeah, okay, I'll take that on board. So it's a nice analogy to look at, rather than have a chairman and a committee and you have to do this, and you know, what's your deadline and what goals you're setting. And to me, every time that kind of happens, I'm like, but guiding lights, all of a sudden, is we're in this together, and it's collaboration personified. So we have this little group. So if you wanted to be a guiding light at some point, you could come along and say, I'm just interested in what I can do, what I can offer, but I want to find out what's going on. And we get those going as well.
Actually, I think that'd be good for you. I think it'd be good for us.
For a particular subject?
Well, I don't know.
Or just in general?
Just next guiding light meeting, how would you like an invite? And if you can make it, come along and see,
I'd love
what we
to.
do. To be honest, we haven't had one of them for a while.
Maybe we could have it in.
Could we have a
You
guiding light
can have
meeting?
whatever you like here. When you were
It's
saying
on
about
film,
your,
she said it.
you know, you can have whatever you like here. Bring life. I
Bring
love
life
it.
into the building, yeah.
Yeah,
I think that'd be
we're
a
a bit
great
short.
idea.
Well, we've got a few chairs.
I'll sit on the
you
floor,
know,
I
we
don't
can
know.
always
bean
get.
bags.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
okay.
and it's of course I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can
it's
have whatever
useful.
you like here.
Lovely. So,
Thank you very much.
so what's next for you? What do you want to explore? So, guiding, you want to come to a guiding light meeting? We have to get one done before the end of the year. Let's do one. See if we do one in July, before August.
Yes, that'd be a good idea.
We'll do a guiding light meeting in August. Before August. Is that all right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Anything else? Well, I think we've covered quite a lot, really, haven't we? But yeah, let's just hope that we can be a bit calmer here and everywhere, really. Yeah.
You've got to create an oasis and then watch it grow and get bigger, so that everyone can experience that peace. It's finding peace. A lot of people are in.
Well, we're lucky. We're in a little bubble of affluence.
Oh
So
yeah.
we're not really in the, you know, a lot of the real world, and so we are just really lucky. Not everyone's the same.
No, but I think we've all experienced the real world at some point or another.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we have, but I don't think we've experienced what some people are experiencing now.
No.
Especially those guys that were in the tower that just fled from Syria. And they managed to get there. One didn't get out and one did. And just to, how desperate you must be to throw your baby out the window. But someone caught the baby. Yeah. Anyway.
So on that note, I guess to sum up, what a wonderful conversation. Thank you, Pam.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
the
Thank you for
wonderful
having us.
venue.
You're welcome, come back.
Yeah, we definitely will. So I guess if there's something you're sitting on, something that you're avoiding getting sorted, getting dealt with, go make that call, go speak to that person, push the button, flip the switch, whatever metaphor works for you. Our hearts and minds are with the people in and around Grenfell, and I don't know what to say about it. I'll be honest with you, I think I'm still working out what I want to say about that. I probably will do another little update on that. And thank you, Jill.
Thank you,
Thank
Rebecca.
you.
Thank you.
Take care.